Hello, and it's good to have you join us again on Maritime Radar. The port plays a key role in connecting nations, trades, and economies. This has profound impact on trade volume, transport, and operational costs. However, the sector is confronted with many challenges such as new standards and modernization to achieve international best practice, especially in the areas of security, safety, environmental management, port operation and services, the ever-evolving and changes in information technology, inter- and intra-regional competition, the ever-increasing size of ships, cargo handling equipment, traffic growth, amongst others. Africa must have the ability to cope with such rapidly advancing realities in order to benefit from the global trade opportunities. Assessing Nigeria's port operation challenges and the implementation of the national single window are some of the issues that will be on the front burner on today's show. I'm Norma Obiaswalo. Nigerian ports have been described as the most expensive and inefficient in the West and Central African sub-region. This made her seaports unattractive to importers who prefer diverting cargoes meant for Nigerian ports to neighboring countries that have efficient port system. Dilapidated port infrastructure, long cargo dwell time, vessels turnaround time, long clearing process, and port congestion are some of the challenges that have retarded the viability of Nigeria's seaport and contributed immensely to cargo diversion to neighboring countries. This drastic drop in vessel calls into Nigerian ports has plunged operations in the maritime sector into a major crisis as businesses continue to nosedive following the forest crisis and inflation currently militating against the economy. Those affected are terminal operators, shipping companies, truckers, licensed custom agents, also known as freight forwarders, amongst others. Consequently, the volume of vessel calls, that is the number of vessels coming into the country, has reduced so drastically that terminal operators and shipping companies are struggling to remain afloat. According to checks, there has been a drop of 4.5% in the number of vessel calls into Nigerian ports from 3,957 in 2022 to 3,778 in 2023. Before we get further into today's lineup on the program, let's find out the latest in maritime news.
The Nigerian Ports Authority has announced its first tariff increase in 32 years, saying that the adjustment was necessary to bring Nigerian ports up to international standards. The tariffs were last reviewed in 1993. The NPA has said that the tariffs will not affect item rates like throughputs and lease fees, rents on NPA landed properties, MOCA levy, service boat operations, hourly towage, and mooring charges. The agency said that the review is premised on the urgent need to address aged and weak infrastructure, obsolete equipment, and slow port capacity expansion, which has continued to diminish the performance and indeed competitiveness of Nigerian ports. The Association of Maritime Truck Owners says it is concerned about the looming congestion at the Lagos ports. Truckers claim they are facing discriminatory policies, which has seen their trucks being detained at brigades as they are sidelined, while others gain unhindered access to the ports. This current practice of alleged color bracketeering, shunting, and policy inconsistencies is fueling congestion along the Apapa Port corridor. When truckers get frustrated with waiting endlessly at brigades meant to regulate traffic, they have no other option than to bypass the normal call-up process and opt for direct access, worsening road congestion. An on-site visit reviewed the reality and impact of the situation.
This driver is coming from Abat. This call-up can testify to his journey history. As you can see, he assessed Abat on the 28th of January. That is when he entered Abat. This call-up was confirmed on the 2nd. Then, not the 2nd. Then later, he exited Abat on the 4th. So that means he spent about 7 days in Abat. He spent 7 days in Abat before he was released from Abat. They will not pass this line. It is the evacuation column they will be passing.
So those ones
The evacuation,
around.
all these ones you see, they are the evacuation they will be passing. These people buying evacuation column, this is what they are trying to avoid by buying the evacuation column at all costs. Yeah, you can see the column. This is evacuation. This is Foru terminal. No stamp, nothing. No jota. That shows his evacuation column. It's direct column. No pre-gates.
Here in the Apapa Port here, we have about 4 or 5 terminals that are serving the public, right? And I said, if those terminals are to operate optimally, they should be able to do about 2,500 boxes. APMT alone claims to be doing about 1,200 boxes in a day. But somehow, they refuse to do this because they too they are benefiting. I call the act of proprietary or pure sabotage because a situation whereby you intentionally delay, reduce your capacity. You are not working optimally just for people truck to be delayed. I mean, container to be delayed so they can pay what we call the validation additional charges. It's very bad.
The Truckers Association is calling on the Nigerian Ports Authority to review the direct evacuation call-up system to ensure fairness and prevent a total breakdown of traffic management in Apapa. If the situation is left unchecked, it could trigger severe port congestion, disrupt trade, and negatively impact the residents of the area and the Nigerian economy.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Maritime Radar. The National Single Window Project was launched in April 2024 by President Bola Tinubu as a pioneering cross-government system designed to streamline trade facilitation by integrating and syncing data from various government agencies to improve economic efficiency. Its implementation for Nigeria will mean improved port efficiency, revenue collection, and drive economic transformation. Since 2014, Nigeria has made efforts twice to create and implement the single window without success. Experts believe that for the national single window to work in Nigeria, all relevant agencies in the nation's trade and revenue system must embrace a singular purpose backed by unwavering government support. The centrality of customs in this ecosystem is undeniable, but success requires a symbiotic relationship where each stakeholder plays its part with precision and commitment. Technology has often been cited as the cornerstone of the single window system, but technology alone is not the solution. As the industry await the successful implementation this time, it's a call to reflect on the peculiarities of Nigeria's trade environment, incorporating user-friendly designs, interoperability with existing systems to accommodate future growth with a critical reflection on why the past attempts failed. Our guest, Olufunmilayo Olotu, former port manager, Lagos Port Complex, provides solutions to the operational challenges in the Nigerian ports and the implementation of the national single window to ensure the ease of doing business. Stay with us. It's good to have you join us on the show.
Thank you, Noma.
Retirement sure looks very good on you.
I'm enjoying myself.
Okay, from your wealth of experience, talk us through the challenges with port operations and what solutions will you be providing to them?
The major challenge has been that of underfunding. Underfunding in the sense that most of our ports, as of today, are not too far from what they were when they were built. We also have the issue of port approaches, access roads. We have the issue of underutilizing the multimodal system of cargo evacuation. There is over-concentration on evacuation via road using trucks, and that's why you see them all over with the attendants, accidents here and there. I also believe we've not done very well in the area of succession plan. We have so many people who have passed through the ports with wealth of experiences, but these experiences are not being cascaded down the ladder. So oftentimes someone comes up and tries to learn the ropes on the job, which is not ideal. Then public-private partnership, we've not taken it to a desired level. Yes, we've done well with the concession program, yes, but I believe we should have expanded it beyond port operations, because the terminal operators we are having are basically working within the port. How about other support systems outside the port that have an effect on port operations? You have the clearing agents, you have the shipping companies, you have all the people out there that could play a major role in port operations. But number one for me is going to be underfunding.
Okay, but these challenges you've enumerated here is hampering ease of doing business, is hampering trade facilitation,
True.
also not helping in blocking revenue leakages.
True.
So those are critical issues which are making our ports not efficient. So we must address it. So what is the way forward for you?
For me, I was particularly interested when I saw Mr. President himself, starting the discussion on the National Single Window discourse. Now, he mentioned the fact that he was going to give it its full weight. He mentioned the fact that it's not going to happen overnight. Those were his words. I know it won't happen overnight. Now, for me, overnight might apply to this administration. But over the years, what have we been doing? The heads of parastatals. Because it's so easy for all of us to talk about Mr. President, Mr. Minister, but how about the heads of parastatals? They are the foot soldiers.
They are the implementers.
They are the foot soldiers. They are the ones to come up with the challenges they are facing. The person who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. And if they drive this without parochial interests, pardon my choice of words, because one of the things I've noticed over the years is that oftentimes parochial interests overtake patriotism and professionalism. And the moment there is no patriotism, there is no professionalism, you do not have a desire to see Nigeria where all the ports are. The port of Mombasa in Kenya is practically within the park. What are we doing? Port of Durban in South Africa, and we claim to be giants of Africa. Giants in which area? Just in population, just in our numbers. We have the potentials, we have the resources, we have all it takes to lead the pack. And one of the first things I believe they've done, which is right for me, is starting this conversation of the National Single Window all over again. We've had previous stories. Okay, let's, like my people will say, the masquerade throws the ropes backwards. Let's throw those ones backwards. Let's start afresh. And I'm also grateful to Mr. President for the creation of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. Unlike in the past that, maritime was practically lumped with transportation and adequate attention was not given. So going forward with this discussion on National Single Window, can all the parastatals, with patriotism at their core hearts and professionalism as their hallmark, come up with roadmaps of how to ensure that the ports are well funded, our infrastructure overhaul. Let me just put it that way, because some of them just forget about it. And it goes beyond Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. We're going to need the Ministry of Finance, because that's where Nigerian customs belong. We're going to need the Ministry of Works, because the roads, they're also part of it. You want to go into Apapa, today they are closing Marine Bridge, tomorrow they are closing one road. It's the same story over and over again. Can't we have a one-off solution that these things are fixed and everybody is at ease? And I believe we can do it. Can't we explore other modes of cargo evacuation? Rail, water, using barges, instead of concentrating on the road. Some will tell you, oh, businesses of trucks will go. I disagree. I disagree, because even when you use barges, it is not the barge that will take the goods eventually to the warehouse. You're still going to need a truck. It's not the rail. The train cannot go into Idumota. So there will still be points where all these cargoes will be consolidated and trucks will be needed, but they will not be seen the way we are seeing them presently. And it doesn't mean we are cancelling them outrightly. No, we use them in right proportions and we strike the right balance.
Okay, what I could take from what you said is critical is partnership, collaborations among agencies. So I'm aware Shippers Council at the time had this partnership, they signed MOU with Nigerian Railway Corporation on how to evacuate cargoes from the ports. And a lot of people were surprised, the stakeholders were surprised that such mode of evacuating cargoes was possible. So meaning that the Nigerian Railway is not doing enough in terms of sensitization on how to use rail to evacuate this. So the issue of collaboration, so how do we resolve that? Because from what you said, is critical to move us forward. Because while we are at this, a lot of our cargoes are being taken to other neighboring countries.
Sure.
You understand? Because we are not efficient. So then again, how can we achieve 48 hours minimum in Nigerian ports?
Let me start from the area of collaboration, and I'll go back to what I earlier referenced. Putting aside parochial interests, not wanting to be seen, not working in silos. My success, if I'm in Nemasa, should be the success of MPA. The success of MPA should be the success of shippers.
The who should champion this is like, this is not happening. Who should champion this?
We're having so many cooks, and I believe the minister should champion this. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, because all these agencies we are talking about are under his purview. So I believe the minister should be in the lead. And from the little I've seen, it is a pioneer minister, so it's to be expected. There will be initial, testing the waters, getting to know what is happening, but he should champion it, because all of them are
What do you think can be done to achieve 48 hours minimum?
48 hours minimum is actually achievable. In the area of turnaround time of vessels, we are good to go. But it's in the area of cargo clearance. Now, we cannot continue to have multiple agencies in the ports. We cannot continue to have multiple inspections in the ports. We cannot continue to have over-reliance on physical examination rather than using scanners, and 48 hours will be achievable. Ports where we are talking of efficiency, if you go and check, there is a high level of automation and digitalization, and Nigeria cannot afford to sit back. We need to upgrade our systems. With automation, all the things we are talking about will just be with a snap of a finger. But when we are still doing things manual, or somebody is still flicking through books, somebody is still checking, somebody is still saying, okay, give me one A gang to come and unstuff this container because I want to check, I want to go inside. The same container, while it's on the truck with a shoreside scanner, you just drive through and it gives you whatever is inside. So you don't need a customs man or any NDLEA, whatever. There are things they are looking out for. And even this scanning we are talking about, this examination, is not just about that physical box you're seeing. What is the origin of the container? There are some countries that we know, they are likely to have cases of this. So when you know this vessel is coming from that place, you can put extra attention, but not this 100% cargo examination, oftentimes physical. But kudos to the CG of Customs. From what I've seen since he came on board, is walking the talk, and we are hoping to see better results at the end of the day.
That boils down to infrastructure challenges. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy also says the national single window will reduce port operation costs by 25%. We'll look into that infrastructure issues and this national single window, but that will be after this short break. Please stay with us.
Africa needs its own storytellers, people who understand the continent because they're from it. People who know that news is more than just a conversation starter, it's our stories. Because these stories run deeper than headlines and segments. It's about digging deeper to get the facts and telling the human side of every single story, not just the echoes from foreign headlines and perspectives. It's time to take back our narratives and share them in our voices. The birth of Africa's New Age reporting, and this is where it begins, right here at News Central TV, with stories that put Africa first.
Welcome back if you are just joining us. This is Maritime Read, and I still have with me Olufunmilayo Olotu, the Queen of the Ports as she's called. She's the former port manager at Papa Port, also known as Lagos Port Complex. So before we went on that break, we were talking about the challenges of infrastructure, which also means multimodal means of transportation. So before the former MD exited, he had said he had gotten loan from Citibank, about 800 million, to be able to drive infrastructure in our port, especially the Apapa Port and the Tinker, which are the older ports. So many months after, we've not seen those kind of infrastructure drive. What is happening to that? Or what do you think that, how will that help to be able to drive this port infrastructures that we're talking about?
When it comes to maritime funding, there are layers. It's one thing to get the approval. It's another thing to get to do release of funds. They're going to involve people. They're going to carry out, various appraisals of the present structures. Where are they going to concentrate? What is it going to cost? And I want to believe all those must be happening in the background. For now, we are not seeing anything, but I want to believe there are, underneath actions ongoing. I want to believe before the end of Q1, we should hear something substantial from the minister and from the agencies involved. The funds, like we have been assured, are there. Approvals have been obtained. Can we see? So we are waiting. So I would ask that let's just be patient and let's work with them till the end of Q1, and thereafter we can take them up.
Okay, so let's look at the single window. Looking at the huge impact, it has failed twice, and it's being reintroduced again. The President Bola Tinubu is really interested in this national single window. But looking at the huge reduction of 25%, according to the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, that is huge. And I'm sure freight forwarders are going to be excited if this is fully implemented. How do you think this implementation should be done?
From the speech of Mr. President, I was struck about transparency. I was touched about reducing costs. Why do we say we want a national single window? If I'm bringing my goods into Nigeria, please tell me which portal can I go to that will tell me I'm bringing this jota, and across board, MPA, Nigerian Customs, all agencies, this is how much it is going to cost me to bring it from the port of origin to the port of destination. We don't have it. And that is why the national single window is very critical. And that's why I'm happy that the president himself kickstarted the discussion this time around. Where you have transparency, nobody is going to tell me that after I've paid what is official, I need to pay this. Then somebody is now interpreting to me, oh no, you didn't tell us the jota has this slides panel of whatever, you didn't tell us the jota has a pen by the side, and because you didn't tell us that, you have to do something. There should be a place I can go to and I get a full picture of what it will cost me, including the clearing agents you've talked about. It's not just about shipping companies, terminal operators, and agencies. How about the clearing agents? Is there a schedule of rates that an average consignee or importer can see that for me to bring this into Nigeria, this is how much? Of course, for variances of, you are better at what you are doing, there might be, It's like you being in a first class in an aircraft and being in economy. All of us are flying.
Yes.
But for the person that wants extra comfort, you pay more. So if you're not telling me that, okay, you're going to pay more because I'm providing these extra services, good. But there is no window, there is no portal where an individual, an average Nigerian or an average investor can go to and say, if I'm coming to Nigeria, this is what will happen. So that is what the National Single Window is meant to achieve if properly driven. And like I said, if it is coming from the number one citizen and being actioned by Mr. Minister and all the heads of parastatals and agencies are put on their toes, I believe we can do it, and it will also help our image that we talked about earlier.
Our image, which is critical.
So that even when we tell people, it's one thing for you to tell people, I can do it, for them to say, who is saying it? That's one, forget about it. So when all these things come into play, we can actually achieve that 25% reduction, because nobody is going to hold you hostage on account of any frivolous discovery, in quotes. Because sometimes these discoveries are not there. So I believe it is doable. But the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, I have my confidence in the sense that when you've been an administrator at a very high level, certain things shouldn't be challenging to you. So having been a former governor, certain things shouldn't be challenging to him. Life is about people. People, they form life. If you can handle people, you can handle life. So if you can handle people, you can handle the maritime. It's about the people involved across board and making sure they do not put their personal interests over and above patriotism and professionalism. I'll keep anchoring on those two.
Time is not always our friend when we have beautiful conversations like this. Thank you very much for your time and your solutions you've provided on the show. It's been Olufunmilayo Olotu. She is the former port manager, Lagos Port Complex, also known as Papa Port. Thank you very much for your time again.
Thanks for having me.
God bless you for those you've been able to really mentor. And thank you for defining what mentorship really is for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on this week's episode. I hope the solutions profiled will help address the endemic challenges in the nation's ports. Every week, join us on Maritime Radar to explore how Africa can make a difference in ensuring the development of the maritime sector. You can also expect the latest in maritime news and industry insight right here. I'm Norma Obiaswala. Many thanks for your time and see you again next week.